Well, hello there, everybody. This is going to be a little bit of an addendum to the economy of Occupy Wall Street video. Um, the other day, the other night, I was about to go to sleep, flipping through the channels, looking for something to bore me to sleep. And, well, what better channels to look for to bore you to sleep than, well, the news. Pardon me, I am going to remove my glasses because the glare pisses me off. But anyways, flipping through the channels, and I don't usually like to watch the news because, well, watching the news and watching news channels in general is kind of the same thing as it's kind of like going to Wikipedia, except for Wikipedia is generally more trustworthy. And I think that says something because anybody can go in and edit the fuck out of Wikipedia. And yet that is more trustworthy than anything you'll hear on the news. I mean, literally, like Wikipedia, you have to go into it expecting to hear 90% bullshit and 10% truth, and you have to be able to know how to pick out that 10% truth, right? Of course, it's worse or better on whatever channel it is, but every fucking news station out there has this issue. Local, global, it doesn't matter. They're all fucked. But lo and behold, I caught a little nugget of truth from one of these channels. And shock and awe, it was fucking Fox News. I know. Holy shit. But yes, you're going to love this because it's not what you're expecting. Not at all. So on Fox News, I heard that while they were berating the hell out of the people of Occupy Wall Street and making them look like fucking animals, quite literally, they were equating these people to animals. I don't get it. The news item that caught my eye was that they said that the Occupy Wall Street protesters had gathered up about $300,000 and that they haven't been able to decide what to do with that money because they don't have anybody per se in charge. And they were saying, well, that's just a sign of how unprofessional this whole thing is and how ridiculous it all is and how they're all just stupid idiots. And like, oh my god. That's the point where I just said, fuck you! Changing the channel. But I do think that's interesting that they have now $300,000 and they're trying to figure out how to best use it. Now, if you remember from my last video, if you watched the whole thing, then you'll know that at the end I mentioned that I feel like a much better way to spend your time protesting would be to gather funds to be able to use to go to the fundraising dinners and whatnot of all the politicians that all of these fucking companies have, in their pockets, so to speak. How do you fix the problem? You get politicians out of the pockets of big business and into your pockets. That's how you do it. It's the only way to work within the system, from what I can tell, to fix what's going on, to fix what has been made wrong. And, I think that kind of like going to jail to appease the conscience of those who don't know they've done wrong would speak volumes to whatever politician you were speaking to, whether it be Obama or anyone else, about how screwed up it is that just to get their voices heard, they had to freaking go to the freaking lengths of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to one of these fundraising dinners just so that they could have their freaking voices heard. That is absolutely ridiculous in a country which claims themselves to be free, of free expression, a country run by the people and for the people. Give me a break. It's run by the corporations and for the corporations now. So, yeah. So I was thinking they got $300,000. That's about, let's see, 10 fundraisers. So you could bring 10 people to one fundraiser, probably more like 6 or 7, to one fundraiser for Obama, and have them either protest there or speak to him there or something. Get the message out there that, oh, by the way, I paid to be here. You can't exactly force me out. You probably will try to, but I think it'll say something that I had to pay to get here just to freaking get you to listen to me. And I, just like them, they paid to get here, and I want my voice heard too. And I think that's the only way to really do it, to make a point about what's going on here, and to get these politicians to realize that, hey, this isn't a fucking career, it's public service, okay? Unless you're serving the public, then you're not doing your fucking job that you're so high on making a career, okay? If you're serving the interests of big business, then you are not serving the interests of the public. Because sometimes, shock and awe, the public do not see things the way that big business does. But I digress. Simply saying that, I think it's actually a really good thing that they're gathering all these funds and that they don't have any plans for the funds right now. So while Fox News tries to make it look like this is just unprofessional and these people have no business asking for anything, I think it's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic that these people have no plans right now for this money, that they're just gathering funds and they can use it however they see fit, hopefully in a positive way that would actually send a message and actually do something and actually be historical in some matter, kind of like the way that the Occupy protests have been. And finally do something, because if you're just sitting there saying, we're going to use the money this way, you're going to use the money that way, the fact that they didn't know what the hell to do with it at first says something, It says that they didn't have other interests at heart. It wasn't about fucking, ulterior motives. There were no ulterior motives for this. It was just, what it was. It wasn't two-faced at all. And I think that's a great fucking thing. Now, everybody else can make it look however the fuck they want to, but hey, I think we all know what the reality of the situation is here. I think we all know who's in the right, who's in the wrong, whatnot. And I think you'd have to be absolutely out of your mind to think that they were stupid not to have a plan for it. I mean, how can you plan something like this? I mean, you can try and plan a protest, which generally a good idea, but even Martin Luther King Jr. planned protests that didn't quite go the way he expected them to, because in every protest, in every large group of people, there's going to be at least one militant person who screws it up for everybody. Even if it is advertised as a peaceful protest, and even if the persons in charge of that protest demand that it be peaceful, you're still going to have people who join into the protest and screw the whole thing up from time to time. It's going to happen. There are things that you cannot control. So yeah, this speaks to the fact that while it was slightly organized, it wasn't organized in a way that was for some ulterior motive that would have benefited anyone except for to benefit everyone, So, good on you, Occupy Wall Street and Occupy protest in general. And I hope you use that money wisely and think about for quite a while, for as long as it takes, how to best use that money. Because logically, there are only a few ways to create any real change anytime soon in the way things work in this country. We've gone too far down the wrong road for too long to even consider, just doing a hard reboot, which is what Republicans want, which is what, well, I don't want to say just Republicans because a lot of people want it. And I think that they don't really understand that a hard reboot at this point means going back to the freaking day, like it's caveman again. You're turning yourself into a fucking caveman. The entire infrastructure shuts down if you do a hard reboot. It's game over, man. Game over. You don't seem to comprehend that. You think that there's some way to avoid that. There isn't. If you keep going with this plan of, oh, we need to do this or that, these drastic changes that would force a hard reboot, you're going to really feel the effect of that later, because there's no way it's just going to keep going the way it is now. I mean, yeah. So all I can say is, yeah, think wisely, long and hard, and let the people's voices be heard for once, I would say. And let the people decide how this money will be spent. Yeah. Anyways, peace. Catch you later.